With Cartoon Network, I feel like every one of their shows can be put into three categories. You have the silly funny shows with not too much serious stuff going on, although shows may vary. And you have the semi-comedy focused series that go on to have more story focused stuff in them like your Adventure Times and Steven Universes. And then you have the majorly story and narrative driven shows like Infinity Train that break the animation scene as a whole. But something I've never seen the channel do in the longest time is the miniseries format. Defined as a television drama shown in a small number of episodes, often on consecutive nights, these were series that didn't necessarily have multiple seasons worth of content on the network, but through its limited number of episodes, managed to tell a good story that still gets remembered by people today. And today we're talking about one of the best examples of a CN miniseries, Over the Garden Wall. This miniseries was created by the one and only Patrick McHale, who's done work on legendary shows such as The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, Adventure Time, lesser-known projects like Blackford Manor, and even doing work on this year's Pinocchio movie by Guillermo del Toro. He's made his mark on the industry for sure, but even with all those works under his belt, Garden Wall was all his. Obviously not the entire show I'm reviewing, of course that's a team effort, but the whole concept was from his own mind straight after graduating college, since being previously called Tome of the Unknown. Point being, Garden Wall was like his brainchild, chock full of the passion of a project that seems fully realized. And that's what I'm here to talk about this Halloween season. The good, the evil, the unknown itself, and just what makes this CN's masterful miniseries.
You'd be no good to your brother dead.
I was never any good to him alive, either. This is the way the woodsman told us to go, right? We are but wayward leaves, scattered to the air by an indifferent wind.
Over the Garden Wall follows two brothers, Wirt and Greg, as they make their way through a mysterious place known as the Unknown, meeting a whole batch of intriguing characters and settings. They come across unsettling woodsmen, rich haunted manors, high society frogs, talking bluebirds, and a whole bunch of other individuals, both good and bad, throughout their time in the Unknown, with the intention of one day getting back home. Already with the synopsis I gave about the show, it doesn't do it enough justice. There's levels to the show and how great it is. Levels. One being its storytelling. With such a limited number of episodes, only being 10 plus the pilot, Garden Wall has less time to tell its grand epic story when compared to other series, so it takes full advantage of those 10, stuffing it with all types of mystery, plot progression, conflict, and enjoyability as it can. And I can safely say that it does a great job in this field, finding a good enough balance between its constantly progressing story and its goofy silly moments where characters are just talking or looking around and interacting in a new area they come across. To put it simply, it doesn't waste your time and gets right to the point.
Beware the unknown! Fear the beast! And leave these woods if you can.
The internet's flooded in videos explaining the very crux of what the show has inside it, including the story it hides behind its exterior. But from what I can tell, the story is actually about two stepbrothers, both based on the two halves of Pat McHale, the energetic younger half and the overthinking older half. The two are stepbrothers, one constantly annoying the other, but when put into a situation where one would be lost or worse without the other, the two become pilgrims in this new land, looking for a way home. Their bond grows stronger, they become closer, and with one final task of defeating the beast that haunts them in this new land, they return home with newfound respect for one another. And this is kind of the point of the unknown throughout the series. The unknown acts as more of a medium, a way for the two brothers to understand each other during their time there. To me, it seems like the journey they've taken wasn't just to inconvenience them, but to understand each other better. It's really poetic that way when you think about it.
You'd be no good to your brother dead.
I was never any good to him alive, either. Thank you. Thank you so much.
As mentioned before, both our main characters, Greg and Wirt, are based on both the younger kid half of Pat McHale and the older teenage part of him. Greg's the energetic one of the duo. He has a good heart, but most of his antics and act first, think later attitude tends to get the duo into a lot of trouble in the unknown. Even with that, he provides a lot of innocence that Garden Wall has. Opposite to him is Wirt, filled with anxiety, overthinks anything and everything, and constantly blames his shortcomings on others. But most of the time, he keeps determination when facing the unknown, even with the uncertainty looming over him. Both these characters are each other's foils, both helping and hindering each other throughout the series, but it never reaches to malicious levels.
Once again, you ruined my life.
Who, me?
Oh, you and your stupid dad!
What I absolutely adore about Garden Wall is its aesthetic. Not just its color palette, but its background art, character designs, music, as well as how it's animated. With just one look, you can immediately tell that any of these things are from this show, each character having features, clothing, and voices to make them stand out from the rest. And tell me, what show do you know would blow the budget this sky high for this one scene alone?
I'll knock you out, drag you off the road, steal your shoes from off your feet, and then highwayman, when I'm making.
See what I mean? The whole show just looked like a huge production for just 10 episodes, with all the aspects that I mentioned coming together to make the final project something to behold.
You take all these elements from the attic, like old ghost stories and pre-20th century music.
Voice cast is also something this series goes all out with, all of them giving an air of personality with each character we meet during Garden Wall, from the eccentric to the grumpy to the outright chilling like the Beast. You have Elijah Wood and Colin Dean as Greg and Ward respectively, both giving wonderful performances as the two brothers. Always love seeing them bicker and argue because it just feels so real, like you can actually picture two people talking like this.
Oh yeah, if you join the marching band, you can hang out with Sarah more.
That ship has sailed, Greg.
But the star power doesn't just end with those two. You have Christopher Lloyd as the Woodsman, John Cleese as Quincy Endicott, Tim Curry as Auntie Whispers, even some CN known talent. Sam Mirren plays Mr. Langtry in an episode, all giving performances that sound perfect for these characters, making the series that much more enjoyable to watch, at least for me. Now I mention the word tone a lot on this channel, and that's because I firmly believe that when done right, it can be used as one of the driving forces of a story. Tone indicates feeling, emotion, perfectly communicates what an artist is trying to show you with their respective work. It can be a piece of writing or art, a film, even a dance can indicate tone for some. And here's where Over the Garden Wall thrives when compared to the rest of its network brethren: its tone. It's not a series where wacky hijinks ensues like Adventure Time or Regular Show. It's not some big seasons-long action adventure with 5 seasons, a movie, and a continuation series like Steven Universe. It's its own thing. Colors are more fall-like, no pastel palettes, just washed-out browns, oranges, grays, and blacks. The settings give off the feel of folksy towns, buildings, and characters, all with a hint of fantasy thrown in. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's a lot more calm than other shows on the network back then, giving time for the feeling of the show to sink in. And that's something I just haven't seen much as of late. Now, if you've been a fan of my videos for a while, you'd know how much I love gushing about my fictional villains. With every show I cover, I enjoy the way they oppose our heroes, and they all come in different shapes and sizes, having a whole variety of voices, plots, and a whole lot more. Kid Cosmic had Phantos, Amphibia had a whole bunch of them, and Garden Wall has the Beast. Throughout the 10-episode run of Garden Wall, we see our main characters travel through different parts of the unknown, having varying experiences from the cheerful to the mysterious to the tense. And for a large majority of Garden Wall's run, there is but one individual pulling the strings in our hero's journey.
Yes, come, Gregory. There is much to be done.
There's no easy way to describe the Beast. It's a manifestation of pure evil in Garden Wall, acting as more of a boogeyman, commanding Adelaide to commit the crimes she did, holding the Woodsman essentially hostage to do his bidding, almost turning Greg into a tree and nearly having the duo killed. This is a villain of both sophistication and intensity, as in his deeds are both with and without him there, and it's amazing to see. Now with a show like this, with such a limit of seasons, I'm not gonna lie, it was the hardest thing to pick out a favorite episode, because each and every one of them left me invested, laughing, or just in awe. So even though favorite episodes are usually a regular part of these reviews, it can't happen this time. But what I can tell you is what I think of the series finale, The Unknown. I'll come out and say it. This finale is a work of art. With episode after episode of exploring the unknown and tensions running higher than ever, our duo have a final run-in with the Beast. However, they defeat him not through hand-to-hand combat, but exposing him for his real intentions. I'll admit, I got really giddy watching the conflict, how our heroes overcome what's pretty much evil incarnate itself, and they come out on top because of it. The episode ends with our heroes returning home, and a montage of each and every one of the characters they've met throughout their journey. The world they visited changed because of them, becoming better for their existence in it. It's all just perfect.
Goodbye, Beatrice.
Goodbye, Wirt.
It makes me happy to know that I was lucky enough to catch Over the Garden Wall on TV way back when, because to me at least, it's never felt like a series of any kind. It felt like an event. Every episode important, every character mattering, each event in the show phenomenal, all leading up to a satisfying showdown and conclusion. I know I'm not saying anything new here. The internet's flooded with video after video singing this series' praises. This is nothing new. But in a world where series pretty much live and die by the length of their runs, I feel like we should always just cherish how much beauty and complexity can come from just one that's just 10 episodes long.
I don't want to have anything to do with you or that frog.
Maybe he's simple.
No, I'm just lost.
You'd be no good to your brother dead.
I was never any good to him alive either.